Hey there, transformation leaders. Welcome back to Unlock, Empower, Transform. I'm Shay Blackmon, and this is episode 45. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a meeting where someone half your age started explaining AI to you like you've never seen a computer before? Or maybe you've noticed how job postings suddenly require digital native skills, as if those of us who remember dial-up internet can't figure out ChatGPT? Yeah. I see you. Today we're talking about something that doesn't get enough airtime. Gen X at the crossroads, navigating age bias in the AI era. We're the generation that invented the internet economy. We adapted from typewriters to computers to smartphones to AI, and yet somehow there's this narrative that we're the ones who can't keep up. I'm going to tell you right now, that narrative is wrong. And more importantly, it's costing organizations the strategic leadership they desperately need. In this episode, we're covering how to confront ageism while leading technological transformation, why your experience is actually your competitive advantage in AI adoption, and how to build multi-generational teams that actually work. This is personal for me. As a DBA candidate researching organizational leadership, I'm watching this play out in real time. And as someone with over 24 years in HR leadership across manufacturing, automotive, and healthcare, I've seen what happens when organizations undervalue experience. Spoiler alert, it doesn't end well for them. Let's start with the elephant in the room. Ageism in the workplace is real. It's also illegal, but that doesn't stop it from happening. It just makes it quieter, more subtle. It shows up in who gets invited to innovation committees, who gets sent to AI training, who gets asked to mentor the young talent instead of being included in strategic planning. There was a company that decided to form an AI implementation task force. Guess who they put on it? Their youngest employees. Because apparently, being born in 1998 makes you an AI expert. 6 months later, they had a technically impressive pilot program that completely ignored regulatory compliance, employee change management, and integration with existing systems. The project failed. Millions wasted. What they needed wasn't just technical knowledge, they needed strategic thinking. They needed someone who understood how change actually happens in organizations. They needed experienced leadership. Here's the first truth you need to internalize. Your job is not to prove you can keep up with technology. Your job is to demonstrate that technology without strategic leadership is just expensive failure waiting to happen. Now, how do you do that while navigating the bias? First, stop apologizing. Stop prefacing your questions with, I know this might sound old-fashioned, but stop diminishing your contributions by saying, I'm not as tech savvy as the younger folks. Every time you say that, you're reinforcing the very bias you're fighting. Second, lead with strategic questions. When AI conversations happen, don't ask, how does this work? Ask, what problem does this solve? Ask, how does this align with our strategic objectives? Ask, what are the ethical implications? Ask, who's accountable when this goes wrong? These are the questions that matter, and they require experience to even know to ask. Third, document your wins. Every time you catch a flaw in an AI strategy, every time your experience prevents a costly mistake, every time you successfully lead a tech-enabled initiative, document it. Build your evidence file. You'll need it for performance reviews, for promotions, and sometimes just to remind yourself that you belong in the room. In my book, High Value Leadership, I talk extensively about building cultures that value what actually drives results, not what looks impressive in a press release. Age bias is a cultural problem, and culture is leadership's responsibility to fix. Let's flip the script here. Everyone talks about AI skills as if the only thing that matters is knowing how to prompt an algorithm. But here's what they don't tell you. AI without context is dangerous. AI without judgment is liability. AI without ethical oversight is a lawsuit waiting to happen, and who has context, judgment, and the ability to see around corners. That's right, experienced leaders. Let me break down why your experience is actually your competitive advantage in AI adoption. Pattern recognition across cycles. You've seen hype cycles before. You remember when ERP systems were going to solve everything, when Six Sigma was the answer to all organizational problems, when going paperless was revolutionary. You know what happens when organizations adopt technology without strategy, expensive implementations that don't stick. AI is no different. Your skepticism isn't resistance, it's wisdom. Change management expertise. AI adoption is 20% technology and 80% people. You know this because you've led transformations before. You understand that the best technology in the world fails if people don't use it correctly. You know how to bring teams along, address resistance, and build buy-in. That's not a soft skill, that's the skill. Regulatory and ethical awareness. You've navigated compliance requirements for decades. You understand that just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. When it comes to AI, this is critical. Data privacy, algorithmic bias, employment law implications. These aren't theoretical concerns. They're real risks that require experienced judgment to navigate. Relationship capital. You have networks. You have trust built over years. You know who to call when you need answers. You know how to build coalitions. AI implementation requires cross-functional collaboration, stakeholder management, and political navigation. These are relationship skills that take decades to develop. Now, here's the strategic move. Stop positioning yourself as someone learning AI. Start positioning yourself as someone who brings strategic oversight to AI initiatives. The framing matters. You're not catching up. You're providing the leadership that ensures AI investments actually work. And yes, you should absolutely learn how these tools work, but learn them like a leader, not like an entry-level analyst. Learn enough to ask the right questions, to evaluate vendor claims, to call out BS when you see it. That's the value you bring. Okay, here's where we move from defense to offense. The organizations that win at AI aren't the ones with the youngest teams. They're the ones with cognitively diverse teams. And age diversity is a critical part of that equation. I've observed what happens when AI implementation teams are generationally imbalanced. When they skew too young, you get innovation without integration. When they skew too experienced, you get caution without momentum. The magic happens in the middle, when you deliberately design teams that leverage both. So how do you build multi-generational AI teams that actually work? Assign roles based on strengths, not assumptions. Your younger team members might be faster at learning new tools. Great. Put them on technical exploration. Your experienced team members understand organizational dynamics. Put them on stakeholder alignment and change management. Stop assuming age equals ability in either direction. Create structured knowledge exchange, not mentorship in one direction. Exchange. Pair younger team members with experienced leaders for strategic guidance. Pair experienced leaders with younger team members for technical skill building. Make it reciprocal. Make it normalized. And make it expected, not optional. Establish decision-making frameworks. Be explicit about what criteria will be used to evaluate AI initiatives. Include both innovation metrics and risk assessment metrics, both speed to market and long-term sustainability. When the framework is clear, generational tensions around move fast versus be careful become productive debates instead of power struggles. Model respectful disagreement. Generational conflict often comes down to communication styles. Create team norms that allow for direct feedback, constructive challenge, and genuine curiosity about different perspectives. When a 28-year-old and a 52-year-old disagree about an AI approach, that's not a problem. That's exactly what cognitive diversity looks like. Leverage it. This is what high-value leadership looks like in practice. It's not about pretending differences don't exist. It's about designing systems that turn differences into competitive advantage. And that's exactly what we'll be building in the High Value Leadership Intensive course. Quick exercise, your AI Leadership Positioning Audit, 12:30 to 13:45. Let's get practical. Right now, I want you to do a quick AI Leadership Positioning Audit. This takes about 5 minutes, and it will change how you show up in technology conversations. Grab something to write with. Answer these 5 questions. 1. In the last 30 days, how many times have you diminished your tech credibility with phrases like, "I'm not great with technology," or "the younger folks probably know better"? Count them honestly. 2. What are 3 strategic questions only someone with your experience would think to ask about AI implementation in your organization? 3. What's one costly mistake your organization has made, or nearly made, with technology that you saw coming? What experience helped you see it? 4. Who is one younger colleague you could offer strategic mentorship to, and who is one younger colleague who could teach you something technical? 5. What's one AI-related initiative you should be leading or co-leading based on your organizational knowledge? This audit does 2 things. It helps you see where you might be undermining your own positioning, and it clarifies the unique value you bring to AI conversations. Use it. The Shield Resilience Strategy Guide has an entire section on internal resources, building confidence and maintaining perspective during challenges. Because navigating age bias requires internal fortitude. Download it. Use it. Links in the description. Let's bring this home. If you're a Gen X leader feeling caught between your wealth of experience and the pressure to prove you can keep up with AI, stop. You don't need to prove anything. You need to lead. Your experience isn't a liability. It's the asset organizations desperately need as they navigate this transformation. Your pattern recognition, your change management expertise, your relationship capital, your ethical judgment, these aren't outdated skills. They're exactly what prevents AI initiatives from becoming expensive failures. Confront the bias by refusing to internalize it. Lead the transformation by asking the strategic questions nobody else is asking. Build multi-generational teams that leverage cognitive diversity. And position yourself not as someone learning to keep up, but as someone providing the leadership that makes AI adoption actually work. My book, High Value Leadership, Transforming Organizations Through Purposeful Culture, dives deep into building cultures that value what actually drives results, not what looks impressive on paper. And my upcoming High Value Leadership Intensive course, that's where we build these systems together. On Tuesday, I'm tackling From Reactive to Predictive, the new HR operating model. We're talking about how HR is evolving from putting out fires to preventing them, and what that means for how we build organizations. You won't want to miss it. Before you go, download the Shield Resilience Strategy Guide. It's free, it's practical, and the sections on internal resources and external support are exactly what you need when you're navigating bias and building your confidence. Link is in the description. And I want to hear from you. Drop a comment and tell me, what's the biggest challenge you faced as an experienced leader navigating the AI conversation? Let's talk about it. Until Tuesday, stay experienced, stay strategic, and keep transforming. This is Shay Blackmon. Unlock, empower, transform.